we would begin with a little dance. Welcome to Invictus Porsche again. Charlie bought this Porsche Cayman from us approximately a month ago. He paid, I think, well over the odds because of a couple of bit of rear spec, which he will talk about. But the point of the video is I think I want to know what his experience has been like with the Porsche Cayman. I mean, we sell these, we prep them, we sell them, but we don't get to drive these cars as an every single day daily. So it's very interesting, not just for us, but I think for a lot of people out there to know what these cars are like. I mean, Charlie's, I think, 6'4", he's a pretty big guy. Yeah, I'm just curious to hear his experience, so I'm going to shut up and let him speak.
So let me walk you around the car. I'll kind of show you some of the reasons why I ended up going so far over my budget, and not just because Basheer was encouraging me and showing me what is a very nice car. So I was in the market for a Porsche Cayman. I've been watching them for a long time. They've hit the bottom of their depreciation curve now. You can find them for as low as £10,000 if you're looking at the 2.7, but you're looking at a seriously ropey example. And you're also looking at taking on a little bit more risk. And that's part of what I thought was really, really good from Invictus Motors is actually managing that risk with these cars, because there's so many rumours on the internet about AMS bearings, and then you've got the bore scoring issue too. So on a later model, you don't really need to worry about the AMS because this is 2008. In terms of the bore scoring, what Invictus Motors has done is they've actually taken photos of all the engine bores for me. They've presented them, showed me every single cylinder. And what's really quite nice to know is I actually work in this industry myself. I work for a engine manufacturing company, and so it's something I'm quite used to looking at. And I was really pleased to see that this particular example is in great condition. And obviously when you're actually buying from a proper dealer, you get decent warranty. There's also options here to extend your warranty too, so if you're spending that bit more money, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable about what you're doing. But yeah, anyway, what was really interesting on this car is it's got carbon ceramic brakes, which I think this has to be one of the lightest cars with carbon ceramics. I don't know of any other cars that really have carbon ceramics that are this small. It's really interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to drive too. There's definitely, you need to get a little bit of heat in them. They do squeak a bit, but in terms of actually biting, I've never experienced anything like it. It actually makes you feel quite sick.
The car never skids.
Never.
It never skids because normally when you've got other brakes, the conventional brakes, and if they're not warmed up properly, your car just wouldn't stop when you need it to stop. At least until it's warm. Yeah,
you got a lot more feedback. It's a lot more, sort of the pedal feels a lot more progressive, which is really interesting, quite like a nice bonus. It's got the PCB, the sports suspension. Interestingly, Basheer said to me, he's like, it's one of those things, it's nice to have, but you'll probably never use it. And I completely agree. It's like you go down a bumpy road, you turn on the PCB, and it's like, I don't know, being in a supermarket trolley going down but it's kind of cool. If there's a perfect road, it's amazing. But I don't use it a huge amount. I love the way it's set up. I see people lowering them on the internet and stuff, but I think it sits perfectly. And then it's got the sports chrono package as well, which I think should also function as a clock, because I think it'd look quite cool, but it doesn't. It's like a lap timer. But with the sports chrono pack, when you actually press the sport button, it does actually change the engine slightly, so your throttle response feels like it's a little bit more commanding. And then it actually changes your rev limiter as well. So instead of having a just over 7,000 RPM soft limiter, when you're in the sport mode with the sports chrono pack, you then have a 7,200 RPM hard limiter, which kind of changes the driving experience. But yeah, overall, in terms of speaking to Basheer, choosing the car, picking the car up, just the sort of like after care communication, everything, it's been really, really good. I wouldn't have done it any other way.
You changed the exhaust to a Designtek Valvetronic system, isn't it?
Yeah, I can show you if you want.
This is quite a set. That's now on.
No, that's on. Oh, fuck, there the other does.
Say something about the Designtek exhaust. I know some people speak negatively of them, but last month I put 2 of the Designtek Valvetronic systems in 2 911, 997 generations ones, and they were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I got 2 back boxes, the Valvetronic systems, for about £600-700.
Yeah.
You know, the OEM back boxes, 2 of them could come up and cost you, I think, about £1,100-1,200.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when you
very
consider, you actually get a better made from a steel alloy perspective. You get a better you get a better back box, and you have a Valvetronic system for half the money than what an OEM part is. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And
So shout out to Designtek.
yeah.
Maybe send us a free samples, a few of them. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, it's good.
What did it cost you? You getting
It's
them?
about £1,000. I did all the fitting myself. Some of the wiring it's a little tricky. You have to tap into a sort of key-on circuit. It wasn't too bad. It took me longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 5-hour job, but maybe it was sort of 8 or 9. But it's quite nice to work on the car, get to know it a bit better. So, so I love it. There's a little bit of drone, which is expected when you have something a bit sportier sounding.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it.
I'm curious, if you stand next to it,
Yeah.
I want the exhaust to be heard by your mic.
Open.
Yeah, open.
Okay.
That tone completely changed. Woo! Designtek sports exhaust. Yeah, but I think, in my opinion, if you eventually then revert it back to the OEM and you get a hang of how to drive your car properly, you should have, no issues of wanting to get good sound out of your car.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite like the low RPM, like slightly more audible. Because I know, like the OEM exhaust, when you're up in the revs, it sounds perfect. I wouldn't change it. But with this, if you took it out, you'd sort of feel like there's those lower notes that I think it's like more. It reminds me. So my dad used to have an 80s 911.
Yeah. I remember you told me.
It sounds more like that at the lower RPMs now. When you're like windows open, just moving along, it kind of has that like old school Porsche vibe that I quite like. So yeah, I do know what you mean. The OEM system's great.
But something I want to tell you from a heritage perspective, a lot of people don't know that. This shares, from a design heritage perspective, this has been inspired by the 550. Because this has got a monocoque chassis, so the shell of it forms part of the structural stability of the car. There's a brilliant book that I have on these Caymans when they were first introduced. These were the publications that were given out to customers to convince them to buy one of these. And when I read where the history of this comes from, I was so amazed. So this is not something new that came out in 2005. I mean, a lot of the design element and the way the car is put together comes from a car that was first manufactured and built in the 50s. So you can feel proud that the heritage goes back as far back as or further than a 911.
Yeah, because I think the last car that did this was the 914. I think it was the same kind of flat 6 2-seater.
Yes.
I love the flat 6.
Charlie's our first customer that we have actually, second customer that we've done this with. I think I want to get more people onto the channel that come out and speak about the experiences, both good or bad. Did you have something bad, something aside from the price? I think you wanted a better price, but I mean, well, could we have done?
No,
bodywork. Come on, there was a couple of little scratches at the front, and stone chips, etc.
Yeah, the things I'm not. You can probably see by the.
Say something bad.
You can see by how dirty the car is. I'm not too precious. Yeah, there's a couple of scratches and dents, but this car's 12 years old. I bought it because of the mechanical workings. So it's honestly, Basheer, I don't believe I had anything bad to say on the purchase experience. It was
thanks very
easy.
much. With some customers, we do have a couple of hiccups here and there, but at the end of the day, with any used cars, the most important thing is that the dealer is there to help and support you. It's not going to be a smooth, straightforward journey with every customer. Thank God you didn't have any hiccups. But I think those customers that have had a few hiccups, I would still love to get them on the channel, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
I think
But it's about collaborating and working together and learning about the car together, and from an experience perspective, just working along with each other. So I'm so happy you've had a good experience.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
I think you were probably one of my customers that was most worried, more concerned about getting a car that you've been looking for such a long time.
Yeah, and the problem is I work in engine reliability, so I only ever see what goes wrong. And so I'm an optimist as a human being in terms of buying something that is mechanical. I'm an extreme pessimist. Yeah. And so I think it was quite a hard sale for you as well, because I'm asking so many questions.
No, but the thing is the minute you told me you're a reliability engineer, I was like, perfect.
But we worked our way through it. We got everything we needed. And
you came to the workshop twice as well?
Yeah, that was nice actually. The guys who actually worked on the car I spoke with, we went through all the bore scoring results, we went through all the rev reports. They also showed me all the sort of common issues you can have on these cars, and like interestingly, at the front, they tend to get leaves in the
condensers, isn't it?
Yeah, in the condensers, and I think you actually changed the condensers. It was
we put brand new condensers, and we put these
and you put these
Zunsport grills, isn't it?
Yeah. So
yeah, we did this.
And that was part of the negotiation. Just as if you're going to go in and sort that part out, you may as well put these grills on just to prevent it happening. Yeah,
shout out to Zunsport grills. I mean, send us a couple of free samples. Thank you.
But yeah, they're the exhaust and the grills are the only thing that's not original on this car.
But it's to protect the condensers.
And I don't mind the look. It still looks great.
Yeah. So, overall, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to have you as a customer. Yeah. And if there's any difficult customers out there that are just like asking loads of questions and that are just not sure about buying a car, just reach out to us. I mean, we have all the time in the day to answer your questions, and should it work with us, brilliant. Should it not work with us, you can buy elsewhere. But you know, if you ask, we will try to help you. But if you don't ask, unfortunately, we will never be able to help you because you never asked. No,
definitely. I think the first conversation we had on the phone was about 45 minutes, and you had no idea if I was going to buy or not. So I appreciated that time. And I never go through dealerships normally. I always buy a car for under $5,000 that's going to be a chance. But I think when you're investing this kind of money in something it's not going to depreciate, you're better to be in safer hands, and that's kind of why I'm, standing here talking to you today.
I agree. Well, hey, look, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Let's finish the recording. Let me take a couple of B-rolls.